Okay, welcome back. Yes, as you've seen there, Senator Dave Umahi, Minister of Works, joins us this morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you for coming on the program today.
Good morning, sir.
Well, we see already that you appear to have hit the ground running with that particular report and then your commitment to do something about that particular road. So is that what type of things and strategy we should expect from you in your ministry?
Well, thank you very much, Mbali Namoko, and thank you, Nigerians and viewers. Yeah, that's copying from our leader, Mr. President.
Does it work late into the night too?
Of course, it does. I wonder, honestly, how many hours he sleeps. I can't even, challenge him on that. So he directed that I should be on the road. The first day we were sworn in on Monday, I was in the office for my reception. Second day, he directed all the roads. So I will give you.
Across the country?
Sure. I've started. Today I'm going to Kaduna, Kano Road. Tuesday I will be touring all the roads in Southwest. I have to say things for myself.
So after seeing all of this, then you map out a strategy and then budgeting?
Yes, and like on Tuesday, I left Abuja 2 p.m. inspecting the Abuja Lokoja and Lokoja Beni roads. I saw the need why I should be on the road. Made a couple of observations. I wasn't very satisfied with some of the contractors. Gave my technical advice. Yesterday I had a meeting with all of them and I directed the 4 contractors on Abuja Lokoja Road to get back to site immediately, and I gave them 2 months to correct all the defects. I also suggested to them a new pavement technology that should take the axial loads on that section of Abuja.
Lokoja, yeah.
Well, I also know that, when you received briefings, when you went to the ministry, your words were widely reported, some in a very controversial light, others in a more practical way. I think you were quoted as saying that, contractors should be looking to, is it...
You can't frustrate me.
No, that's the civil servants. About, something around contractors reducing their, profits, to do it in a shorter time rather than extending the projects for such a long time because they want to make wider profits. Can you tell us precisely what would have informed that comment? What did you notice that made you make that comment?
Yeah, so I noticed that some projects have been ongoing for the past 20 years.
20 years?
Yes, some 12 years. I think the minimum I saw was about 3 years. That is not very healthy for the country. And I also noted that some of the projects, while you're still on the road, they have come bad. And I also noticed that the lifespan of our roads, the maximum, is between 5-7 years. That shouldn't be, and that's why every year we are putting money on road projects, and then you are not getting value for it. So why should we, a project of 130 kilometers, why should we award it once? We can phase it. Naturally and normally, every road project should be within the budget cycle of 2 years. And so these are the things we are looking at. And my take on that is, if you were going to make a profit of 100% within 20 years, why don't you make a lesser profit within 2 years? Because as you are, increasing the value of the project, your money also may be depreciating. So it is not a win-win affair both for the contractors and Nigerians. So we are going to be looking at that. I've directed that all the no objections, my ministry submitted to BPP, be returned. We need to look at that. We need to look at, the new method of constructing our roads, based on our climate. When I was on Abuja Lokoja Road, I discovered that the asphalt, was flowing. And that, gave a wave, kind of pavement on our road. And if you enter that road with speed, that's the end of that, such a person. And so I've told them and agreed, the contractors. I don't know why we are so much, at peace with asphalt. But I said, look, the asphalt was designed, to 40 degrees Celsius of, climate.
You're changing to concrete.
Yeah, but that the temperature became 60 degrees Celsius. So you can't start such argument. But I know that in Middle East, where you have very high temperature, a lot of their roads are on concrete. And then when you also go to Canada, you go to America, you go to London, mostly a lot of their swampy areas, you also use concrete to do that. And I did 3,500 kilometers of concrete road in Ebonyi State, and maintenance free for 50 years. You will not maintain it. And I discovered that my predecessor, His Excellency Fashola, also initiated concrete roads, Oshodi Road. I was there and I was so pleased with the quality of work done. And I'm happy that they are already started. And it was, 28 inches concrete thickness. So we are looking at all these things. How do we cut down cost? Because the major issue is also the cost of construction.
Is concrete cheaper than asphalt?
That is the issue. If you ask me, yes, when I was in Ebonyi State, the concrete was cheaper, 20% cheaper than asphalt. And we are looking at the figures, but it looks that a lot of contractors are not willing to make that change. That I'll make them to make the change. We're all engineers.
Well, why do you think that's the case? Why are they not willing?
I don't know. Maybe they're at peace with asphalt, and maybe they think they will make more money, with asphalt. But I'm telling them, I will protect your profit. I'll protect whatever thing you want to make. But let's help Nigerians. Let's build roads that will last. Let's build roads. And the funny thing is that, the government, the president will give out the money. He will give out the money. But when, poor quality, and let me tell you something, the quality of bitumen we have now being imported in Nigeria cannot be said to be the same thing with the quality of bitumen that, was there in 1950 and 1960.
We're importing bitumen?
Of course we do.
Well, we've been told that Ondo State alone, has huge bitumen deposits.
Yeah.
So how come we've not been able to partner with, say, the Ministry of Solid Minerals to be able to explore? Well, you're a new minister, but you're no stranger to some of the, words we've been hearing around. We hear that, we have large deposits of bitumen in Nigeria.
Well, just like Mr. President, we are not complaining. We saw the problems and challenges, and we decided to undertake, the leadership. You've not seen Mr. President complaining. He's confronting the challenges. That's one of the challenges. And I have said in my opening remarks in the ministry that we're going to be looking at, the development of our bitumen at Ondo and Ogun State. We'll be working with the Ministry of Solid Mineral, doing this. We also know that the moment we deploy concrete technology, I'm talking with the state governors on this, it's a revolution that is going to come and is going to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians. Then we may have shortage of cement. So there may be a time...
An increase in the price of cement as a result of that?
Well, we have to talk to cement manufacturers. I'm going to be running figures with them to check the cost of cement if we import it and the cost they are giving us here. A lot of contractors have complained that it's cheaper to import cement, but we are not allowed to import cement because we have to help, the cement industries. Yes, but they also have to be reasonable with us. And if we are going to be patronizing them, and there is a need to use concrete technology, not only that is going to last our roads for a minimum of 50 years, but look at the dynamics of a petroleum product. The bitumen is a byproduct of that. And so anytime the price, is rising, the cost of bitumen is rising. And when I was governor, even when I wanted to decorate the roads, it's like putting chandelier on a concrete pavement by overcoating with 2 inches asphalt. Sometimes we don't have the bitumen, maybe because of forex problems. And with asphalt also, you will see that our contract will keep on, rising. Because the contract with asphalt is being affected by just not two factors, but the factor of, Forex, because if the Forex, the dollar, is going very high, then the bitumen cost will be high, the asphalt cost will be high, and then you now go on, a variation on price, VOP. I hate variation. I hate that.
Well, I'm sure even I don't know if contractors like it though.
Yeah, no, they won't like me.
But
one of the things we also know about Ebonyi, because people have talked about, how much success you're able to record in constructing roads in Ebonyi. I haven't been there, so I haven't seen it. But I mean, let's even take their words for it.
You don't believe them?
You use. I said, let's take their word. There was that you use direct labor, which made things a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
How do you? That certainly, I don't know. Do you think that any element of direct labor can? Because we're looking at a situation whereby a lot of people need jobs. People need to be able to work. People need, and we know that these things can also be seasonal. But do you see a system whereby, contractors largely implement most of the works we see at the Ministry of Works?
Well,
do you see a role for direct labor in
I started with FEMA. For example, Nigerians, that are sending text messages for immediate intervention. I've not gone to the ministry to find out what is possible and what is not possible. But we have a lot of challenges here, and I'm going to tell you. I asked FEMA, let me see the act establishing FEMA. Why is it that you are awarding most of your contracts? Why are we not developing our local engineers? Why do people go to study engineering and then you don't give them the opportunity to practice? I met engineers of every staff of the ministries, every staff of the ministry in Ebonyi State. They became engineers, and by deploying direct labor. By direct labor, we also had to pay tax and we had to pay VAT. So nothing is, this thing. But the people are developed. The job is done. There is, I made Ebonyi State a construction industry. Every part of the state. People were working, people were happy. And my governor now is also doing the same thing. Of course, he's been there for 12 years, the House of Assembly and Speaker for 8 years. So nothing is new to him. Now, the acting MD came yesterday, and I said, is there anything that stops us from, getting engineers in all the states? And because the road construction is like, a medical program. If somebody is sick, it doesn't need bureaucracy to attend to the health of such a person. The same way maybe a bridge is broken. The bureaucracy cannot allow you to fix the bridge, and the people are not happy. People are complaining. So we're going to be looking at that. And he said to me, no, we can do direct labor. So I'm looking at that, how we can do direct labor, and we need to be audited, periodically. This is very important. I was on Abuja Lokoja Road, and I saw a bridge, that was built by one of the contractors. The return wall failed, the abutment failed, and FEMA, deployed. I'm happy they said direct labor. I wasn't satisfied with the quality of work and the design. I stopped it, but I invited the contractor. I said, hey, you're a very big contractor in this country. You want to damage your reputation. Get back to site. It's your responsibility. So, no, we have handed over. I said, no. It's a poor quality work. You've got to go and do it. And I'm happy he accepted, even though he said it's a gift to us. I said, anyhow, they must have value for our work. So we're going to be doing direct labor. Now, in the ministry, I've not gotten briefing about that. But that is the way to go. But I even say that I will, talk with the president. I will send a memo. I must be given at least the size of my budget, in the Ministry of Works, to have free hand to intervene.
That's where the challenge lies, because you have to do that with the National Assembly, don't you?
Well, don't forget I'm a senator, and God sent me there to understand.
Are you still going to be keeping that position?
No. The moment I was sworn in, that position was going to do a rerun, but that's after the court, the tribunals, when they're done with the cases, and I'm confident that I won the election, and I'm confident that God will keep the position for APC.
Okay, let me get this straight, because yesterday we had this in our news that the tribunal had reserved judgment in that particular matter. So you say you're going to wait for them to
No.
give judgment first?
No.
Or what?
No, I'm a senator, but not a sitting senator. So I've exited the National Assembly.
But you didn't resign.
I resign. The moment you take out of office of another office, by law, you've exited the other office. But the position still belongs to APC. And that position of APC, having won the election, it will be consistent until, God forbid, the tribunal says otherwise. So that's the position of the law. And at the end of the day, the position is kept by God's special grace and by the law. Then we have to go back and do a rerun. That's the way it goes.
So this conversation you're having with FEMA for direct labor, will there be any public-private partnership component into all of this, such that they have that template moving forward?
Yeah, you see, direct labor is, I can engage you, I give you cement, I give you chippings, I give you reinforcement, and I ask you to deploy your technology, as a, SME contractor to do the work. Okay? So you do that. So that's the kind of partnership you're looking at, Yeah, but we can also use, the ministry staff to say, look, we have this number of engineers. You can recruit engineers. You can employ more engineers. And that will create jobs for us. So that's what we are looking at.
So at the end of your tenure, or before we even get to the end, so I know you've spoken a lot about what you intend to do, but we've gone in this country from constructing roads that usually have lots of cover, good quality with proper furnishing and lighting, to just constructing roads and then they say, that's it, we're done. So in your tenure, what should we expect when you get down to work and people see roads? What's going to be the distinguishing factor?
I'm going to bring a couple of innovations. For me, road construction and the road infrastructure is everything. Without road, it's difficult to move medical personnel or patients. Without roads, children cannot go to school. Without road, you cannot transport the solid mineral or agricultural produce. A man in India was asked, the weirdest man in India, said, what do you do to rejig an economy? And he said, construct roads. And so we are looking at our road as a major component of our economic revolution in this country. And so I'm bringing on board, as directed by Mr. President, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu. One, we need to bring Nigerians back to our roots. And for you to do that, you have to construct quality road. And we are offering Nigerians concrete pavement. The concrete pavement we built for Niger Sem in 1950 is still there, as if it was done yesterday. I had 199 kilometers of ring road to build in Ebonyi State. I spent 1 year, fighting with African Development Bank and Islamic Development, the funders. And at the end of the day, they asked me to give an undertaking should the contract exceed that I will use state funds to, I say, yes, this is government money. I don't want to do a road that by the time I'm leaving, the roads are gone. And then my children and grandchildren, will be, on the lips of Nigerians. I don't want that. So we won, and we started concrete roads. A lot of expatriate companies were involved, CGC, CCE, CBC, and they're very, very happy. Now, African Development Bank is very happy. Not that. We are also bringing safety on our roads. I'm going to be working with NSA because 95% of kidnapping occur, on our roads and majorly on the bad, spots. And so what we are trying to do is to bring Nigerians back to the roads, is to use the roads 24 hours. And how do we do this? Constructing the road, you have to clear the veggies, up to 100 meters either side, so that wherever you are, you will be able to see, somebody. And it's difficult for you to just escape within 100 meters, a minute. This is very important. We're also trying to see if we can use our contingency fund in the construction, even though that's the eyes of the contractors. But my eyes will also be there to see if we can save money there and then put solar light. And then we also be looking at how do we sustain these roads. It's difficult. 1 trillion is even not enough. I'm having, certified certificates of over 5 trillion now. And you go to budget, you have 300 billion. What can we do with that? So we are going to change that and see what we can do. And this is happening because the roads we are building, within 2-3 years, we are back on the road to reconstruct it. This is not good. And we are going to be looking at, concessioning and tolling of our roads. This is very important because if you want to make an omelette, you have to strike an egg. This is very important. And we're also going to be looking at service stations like we have in overseas. You do 50 kilometers, you should be able to, enter the service station, either that you have a medical challenge, there will be a small clinic there. If your vehicle is broken down, there will be a tow van, and so on and so forth, just like what obtains in overseas, and a rest house and supermarket. We're looking at all that. And then security will also be very important. I have to run my ideas with the NSA. What do we want to do? Do we want to recruit a new set of people, give them electric vehicles to patrol the roads? We have to bring confidence.
That's police or what?
Whatever you call it, But we need a kind of, armed...
Some sort of highway patrol, properly armed.
Yes, but every 10 minutes, you must see a highway patrol at one spot. This is very important. It has to be there at night.
Well, one of the things that some contractors say when we do reports and we wonder why some of these roads have been going on forever, they actually say that, look, sometimes when those contracts are given, some person somewhere always gets a large percent of the kickback. And so when they take that kickback, they leave them with little or nothing to work with. So could that have been part of what you were referring to when you were quoted to have said no civil servant should keep your file in their office for 2 hours, they shouldn't frustrate you? Any relation with that?
Well, in my reviewing the books, I've not seen where, the likelihood of anybody taking money from that project. If they're giving money out, they're giving it from their legitimate, profit. I didn't see that. So it's not the problem of, people taking money from them. They have to make up their minds to work for Nigerians. They have to make up their minds that this is public funds. And I tell people public funds has a lot of problems. Because when you take public funds without using it to work, you're taking lives. And it has a lot of consequences. This is very important.
So in other words, contractors during this time will know that they can have access to you. If anybody is trying to force or frustrate them by giving kickbacks, they can say no categorically and then find a way to report that to you if that's the case.
But, even when I was governor, I have only one line, and I respond to all text messages and phone calls. Some call me to abuse me, and sometimes I abuse them back. So that is the beauty of democracy, freedom of speech. And I'm also human. So
are you allowed to do that? To abuse people back? I mean, if they're really, really incensed and they call you, maybe over a service that was not delivered. Shouldn't you apologize?
No, of course I should. That is not the kind of abuse I'm talking about. If you just abuse me unduly, without any reference to the job, I will find a mild way to also abuse you, back, by telling you to be reasonable. Not that I'm going to use foul language.
Okay, but the states, we've also seen, you should know this as well because you've been there as a governor. But part of their challenge, which we also see, federal roads, trunk A roads, a number of them, the states complain, they had to take over the construction of those roads because federal government was not coming to construct them. And when that happened, of course, they had to demand their money back. So you said you're going to have conversation with them. What do they expect from you in that regard?
I have a different view about this issue of federal roads and state roads. And when I was governor, I didn't consider federal roads and state roads. I had to do them. It's better to do the job and then you come looking for, refund. But the beauty of it is that Nigerians, they don't know which one is federal roads and state roads. So I find it very funny when some people go to put, signboard because they're trying to do palliatives. And they say this is federal road that is being done by state government. What are you trying to say? It's still one government. It's still the people. They don't know which one. They want good life. So I, when I was with the governor of Kogi State, he came to accompany me on Tuesday. And I saw a long stretch of roads, which he did. The people were suffering. And that's federal road. But they were not calling the federal government. They were calling the governor. And so I advised the governors to, come in. Over 70% of the roads I did in Ebonyi State, they were federal roads. I was not complaining. If there is an avenue for refund, then while others are moving for refund, my governor will also move for refund. That's it. But you have to give good life to Nigerians first before you start to complain. And we all, did swear to, before God and before man, to give good life to our people. And that's my advice. And there is a stretch that is too much for the state government to do while we're expecting that on Tuesday. And I said to him, put a remedial measure, they will redesign the road. Because there's no need of having a road that when the flood comes, you can pass. Another thing I observed was that, a very long stretch of, bridge on that Abuja-Lokoja, and flood never got to that level. At a stretch of 1.6 kilometers, you have flood on it. And you could recall that sometimes last year, we had, scarcity of petroleum product because that place was flooded for 1 week. We are looking at that. What do we need to do? And the only way to solve that problem is to do, a stunted flyover and fly above the floodplain. And that's what we are looking. So I've asked them to stop construction on that 1.6 kilometer of road. I have to, let Mr. President see it. I'll go and show him the problems and so on and so forth. Because there's no need of constructing that and then the flood comes and washes away. Even with asphalt, each time you construct, a flood comes, it washes away. And that's not good for us.
All right, we'll go to break, but of course, a lot more questions when we return in just a moment, so don't go away.
Welcome back. It's still Sunrise Daily on Channels Television, and we have with us today the Minister of Works, former Governor of Ebonyi State, and Senator Dave Umahi. Your Excellency, listening to you, evidently you have quite a big vision for maintenance and revolutionizing road infrastructure in the country. But of course, you would be needing funding for this. And experts have projected that Nigeria will be bridging the road infrastructure gap for over a period of 70 years and will be needing trillions of naira to do that. At the reception for you, following your swearing in, the Deputy Speaker proposed Road Investment Fund. Would you be considering that? And what would you be doing, to create a pool for that fund on a sustainable basis?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to you. Good morning to my good people in Lagos studio. Thank you very much. We have quite a lot of issues regarding, our road program. Starting from the budgeting process. I was in the National Assembly, and every National Assembly member wants to include a road or 2 or 3 in the budget. Of course, your constituents, they expect you to do something, and road is very important in our country. But in a road that is estimated, say, like 20 billion, and you are budgeting 100 million, what do you want people to do? What do you want the federal government to do? And Nigerians will not be aware of such, a huge gap, and they will now be causing the federal government. We have to change that. We have to prioritize, our budgeting process, and we have to be realistic about it. This is very important. And in doing this, I recommend that the National Assembly should work with their state governors. Let them do a meeting and then say, okay, this is what state government can do. This is what you expect federal government can do. Realistically, this is what can go into our budget. And I would be recommending that the budget cycle should be 2 years. Yes, the Deputy Speaker did a very beautiful remarks, and he recommended, infrastructure fund, just like you have the UBEC fund, which is a percentage of the federation account. This is very important. This is the way to go. Every year, we shouldn't have, in our budget, anything less than 1.5 trillion, aside the other, programs for our road, like the tax relief, the Tax relief, yes, we have that one. We have 2 or 3 other programs which I'm studying to see how I can escalate to help our finances as far as road construction is concerned. Yes, we are looking at that. I'm getting beautiful suggestions from Nigerians. But let us just know that if we want our roads fixed, Mr. President Tinubu is not going to make magic. We have to be realistic about it. We have to put ideas together. And are we be holding Nigerians to tax if a road is going on in your place and the work is not going or the work is being poorly done? You have a right to intervene. My phone is very much available. A text message, and I will respond immediately and action will be taken. So we are looking at all that.
The governor of Edo State had cause to complain about the federal roads in Edo, for instance. And I recall he also said that there are bureaucratic processes that impede state government intervention at that level. I wonder what your reaction would be to that. And you also referred to the road tax relief system. It's an executive order, that comes from federal tax that states do not necessarily enjoy. So if states were to come in at this level, is there any legislative impediment that can allow them to also issue such executive orders such that they can also intervene with that kind of policy at the state level, such that they can also embark on construction of federal roads within their domain?
Yeah, they can intervene, but they cannot take federal tax. They can't issue executive order. You can't give what you don't have, in their domain. But there is a huge, infrastructure fund that is available now. And my take is that federal government should give it to me. They should give it to me, and they should give me a tax and give me a time, whereby certain priority projects must be fixed. This is very important, and I will be giving weekly briefing if that is done. Number 2, I don't want my good friend, Governor Baseke, to complain. There's nothing like federal roads, state roads. When the people are suffering, Nigerians are the people suffering. And there is huge quarry that, are operating in Edo State. You should deploy, road equipment to such roads. They grade it and they put stone base. They ask the quarry people to donate stone base. I did it in my state. And then while that is done, you should prioritize that. Ask your National Assembly members to prioritize, because if that road is too important and they didn't bring it into budget, what do you want this federal government to do? This is very critical. And everything is a priority in this country. Talk about education, talk about health, talk about security. And so we have to begin to, look at figures and then prioritize our needs in this country. But I promise Nigerians, with the directive of His Excellency, the President, that any road we do with our new technology, 50 years, nobody is going to maintain it. So money will be saved and money will be wisely spent, in our tenure.
And as you start off, I know that quite a number of people will not forgive me if I don't ask this. Which roads will you be prioritizing, as you begin work? There's the East-West Road, which federal lawmakers had cause to visit in recent times. There are federal roads also in the Southwest region that are begging for attention. There is the Edo federal roads that I also talked about. So which roads will you be prioritizing as you start off?
Yes, that's why, it will take me like a month before I can come to terms with realities. I have to visit most of the roads. I started, by going to Kogi State. Today I'm going to Kaduna. Tuesday I will be in Southwest almost for 3-4 days, and I'll move to another zone. I have to see things for myself. I have to discuss with contractors. I have to see the quality of route going on. I grew from, engineering. I've done nothing else, apart from the few time I was deputy governor and governor. Otherwise, I've been in the field. So I have my ideas. I have, God speaking to me about some of these things. So the priority of the project is when I've finished, I run the figures. Mr. President, this is what we have. This ongoing projects, the certificate generated, not paid. This balance to work. This is the quality of work done. This is my idea of how we can introduce new technology. This is the cost difference. If there will be, and so on and so forth. But definitely, by the use of the concrete technology, we are not going to exceed the contract sum, and we are not. It's not going to be costlier than the use of asphalt. So this is very important. So I won't right here say these are the projects that are prioritized. It has to come from, the people, the National Assembly, the governors, the people, and then I will run it with Mr. President, who will give his final approval. Because there is no way we can put all our 10 fingers in our mouth at the same time. We have to be realistic to that. If we allow projects to go on for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, and then you deploy, variation on price, which is fluctuation. I don't like fluctuation, and I don't like variation. 10 meter cubed of earthwork, and tomorrow it turns to 15 meter cubed. I didn't allow it. In fact, I had to pass a law in my state that no project, no variation in the state without the assent of the governor. And that helped me quite a lot. So every contractor, every direct labor employer, they were all aware that this is the situation. So the prioritizing of the project is going to depend on, funding, the views of Mr. President. He's the master of the renewed hope. He went around the entire country, promised Nigerians. So National Assembly members that are representative of the people. So we put all these things together. And the views of Nigerians, they know where it is paining them. So this is very important. So I will appeal to His Excellency Governor Baseki that federal government, state government, still for the service of the people. Whatever you can do, and then let's join hands together with NAS to prioritize our projects and then see how we can move together. Yeah,
it's interesting that you mentioned the people, because the people are already setting the agenda. We, for instance, have received a mail from someone, Duku Moses, who says we should ask you to what your plan is for the Enugu-Benue Federal Road, that if you can go there in person, you will see the condition of the only road that connects the Southeast with Middle Belt. Well, you'll probably have to take that in your stride. It's part of perhaps what you also want to go visit. I'm pretty sure you're going to, respond to that one. But, one of the questions that I would want to, first of all, ask you, if you don't mind me raising that, is this. I mean, you've been quoted as saying that you cannot be frustrated by any civil servant. It is curious because having had a conversation with a former minister as well, he said that, look, if a minister does not have a relationship with his civil servant, he's going to be frustrated. And that conversation has to start from the very get-go. And it seems this very same thing that you have done. So maybe what challenges do you foresee that informed that position, that your file will not last longer than 2 hours on any director's table? Do you see any sense that any such thing could happen, perhaps from your experience?
Thank you very much. You journalists, sometimes you dig into trouble, and that doesn't help in solving the problems. You are looking for trouble here. And I'm not going to allow you to cause this trouble. I'm not talking about the civil servants of my ministry, but generally people talk about bureaucracy in civil service. I've not seen it in my ministry. And that's just the way to say about that. And you see, to have a relationship with the civil servant, I'm a welfareist. And when I even do direct labor, it's the ministry staff that will benefit, because they will be agile, they'll be working, they'll be exercising themselves, and of course, they will also make money. Nothing stops them from, working and making money that should have been, flying away, out of this country. So this is very important. So that is it. I have not seen this thing, and when you say to have a relationship with it, depends on the kind of relationship we want to have. If the civil servants are given for the welfare of the people, which they are, and I'm giving for the welfare of the people. So we are on one page. So where will the differences come? But I had to sound the note of warning. Not everybody will like me, and it's very natural that no file will stay beyond 2 hours. I minuted our files yesterday. And of course, I said they should put the time I'm sending out the files. This is very important. And that's discipline. Without discipline, no success could be achieved. On the issue of Enugu-Benue route, curiously, the federal government has given out, that route. And that road is ongoing by, Harbour China Engineering Nigeria Limited. Yesterday we had a meeting, and they have a very beautiful idea of what they are doing. The first section of it is Kefi to Benue. is said to have been completed. I'm going to see that when I'm going to tour the North Central zone. And there is on construction, tooling in 4 locations. And I brought this idea of, please, can you clear the veg up to 100 meters away? And can we look at if you have savings on contingent so that we can use it to put solar light there? And I also discussed with them that wherever you are putting tool, we have to put the service station. So that has been done. I'm yet to see it, but I'm told that's a beautiful job. Now, the Benue to Enugu is about to start. They are putting their camps now. And I discussed with them and we agree. And curiously, there are the people doing the deep sea, Lekki deep sea port. And part of the roads they are doing there, they are using concrete. So when we agreed that we should change that scoop to concrete, they were very, very happy. And again, it's for the advantage, because with the asphalt, within 5 years, you start maintaining it, will cost you money. But with the concrete, which is going to be cheaper than asphalt, then you find out that 50 years you don't maintain, which is good for you. And I've told Nigerians that even if you like, if you are not able to go to Ebonyi to appreciate the concrete technology, if you are not able to go to Apapa Oshodi Road to appreciate the concrete of what Dangote is doing, then we can curiously, cure your anxiety. And then when we do the concrete, we can overcoat it with 2 inches asphalt. And that is like putting chandelier on the pavement. And so we can do that. So the Benue Enugu is about to start. And it's starting on a very wonderful note. My meeting yesterday was very fruitful with Harbour China Engineering, and they're very good contractors. So that's the answer to that.
Well, one thing that you can be sure of is if you put this out on social media or put out an email address for roads to prioritize, you will have quite a list on your hands. So when you're talking about collaborating or, consulting with people, that's really easy for you. But please help me answer this question. You said a thing or two about that in your response to Bukola's question, but it seems a perennial situation that sometimes governors do not efficiently collaborate with federal government agencies in such a way that, when the federal government makes a pronouncement that it cannot be done without collaboration with the states, there's a challenge there. I also, may want to cite the example of, these development agencies such as the NDDC, where the agencies get to work on some projects, but they do not collaborate, so to speak, with the governors, and a number of them actually raise that issue. Is there a problem where the governors at the subnational level are unable to significantly or efficiently collaborate with the federal government to bring the dividends of democracy, of good governance to the people? What are the challenges that you have experienced, be it political, economic, whatever the issues are, and how do you think we can navigate it?
Yeah, thank you very much. Very important question. First, is when you talk about if I put out a mail for prioritization of the routes, that I'll have a lot. Yes, the first point, of course, will be the National Assembly. That the representative of the people. And my take in this is that, and recommendation is that the National Assembly members of every state should be able to sit down with their governors. Forget about politics and party. Election is over. Then the people expect, what we promise them. And you can't do this thing by still, talking about party. You have to, move in, just like Mwike is a PDP member, is a member of our, our team, and he's not doing party. He's looking at what we promise Nigerians, how to deliver. And so that's my recommendation, that all the National Assembly will sit with their governors. Yes, the governors must be carried along. They are the people. They feel the pains more than any other person. So they should have a say. And the governors, we are appealing to them. There is a policy of the federal government that if we are doing any infrastructure, the state government should be able to pay for compensation. But my take in this is that you cannot use the federal agency to run the figures for the compensation and you ask the state to pay. No, allow the state to use their laws to run the figures for compensation and then handle the payment. That's a bottleneck. We don't have the powers to appropriate for the state fund. It's the House of Assembly that has such powers. So I also intend to discuss, do a kind of, town hall meeting with the governors, National Assembly members, and if they permit, House of Assembly and key stakeholders in each of the regions. And so that we begin to work together. I think governors will be carried along properly. Yesterday, or Tuesday, the governor of Kogi came and we went together and he contributed quite a lot. The experiences and recommendation advice, I put them down and they form part of my, learning and form part of my decision making. Today, the governor of Kaduna State, is coming to, in fact, he begged me, say, please drive straight to Government House. Let us discuss and then we now move to the field. That's what we are doing. There is no state I'm going to be going there like a ghost. I have to call the governors first and I take the National Assembly. The National Assembly members from Kaduna, they also accompanying us. So this is the kind of healthy synergy we are looking at. And this is very important.
And I'm hoping that it will spread across all ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government as well. An example of that is the one that I stated earlier, which is the NDDC. Is there any interface or overlapping functions between the Federal Ministry of Works and the NDDC, for instance? Because we understand that the NDDC is also involved with some road projects. So far on their website, they have about 6,676 roads and bridges that they said that they have, constructed. So being a federal agency, is there an overlap function with the NDDC and the Federal Ministry of Works?
Well, there should be, because, for the welfare of the people, we should also be able to sit together and look at the roads they are doing and look at the roads we want to do. And good enough, we have a minister there. So I'm not going to talk much other than collaboration, with the minister, so that together we can also do what we intend to do in Ministry of Works, and that is carrying the state governors of those NDDC states, along with the National Assembly members.
One other thing about road maintenance, you said that, of course, these roads should be able to last nothing less than 50 years. Fantastic. But then there are other infrastructure that go along with them. The road medians, the divides on the roads. Not too long ago, I'm sure you're aware, some people have started to vandalize the second Niger Bridge, facilities on the second Niger Bridge. And in quite a number of communities all over the nation, we have situations where people live under bridges and they, in one way or the other, compromise the integrity of this infrastructure. What's the plan to not only ensure the maintenance, the durability and all, but to also make sure that those things, actions by the people that can compromise the integrity of the roads are put in place?
Well, thank you very much for this. When I was on Abuja, Lokoja, I noticed the beautiful job that Dan Tata did, from the airport flyover point. Very beautiful road work, but the median was bad. So I invited them yesterday and I gave them 7 days to go and remove the median. When you go, about 10 kilometers, you now see another median being done by them, excellently, done. And I've directed them that they should go and remove that section and they should put the correct one, clear the veggies of the road, maintain the shoulders. Oh, we have handed over, but your name is at stake. So you have to go.
And on our expressways. I don't know if this is something that's of concern. We see it even along here, along the airport road here in Abuja, people openly defecating in the medians. Of our roads. I don't know what, I know that that's your job is to construct the road. Now, in terms of maintenance,
the Ministry of Environment.
Yes, are you concerned about
there
that?
are certain problems that must be left for God to solve. I don't know how we'll be policing people that are innocently passing so they want to, But the answer to that is the construction of the road. Let the private sector own the road. Let's do a durable road and allow them to own it. Let them also be part of the construct, own, and maintain, and tow. This we help. Let us, a kind of, patrol our highways. Let us patrol. Let us have solar light, our highways. Let's make our highways safe. Look at the air traffic is jammed. You may not get a seat, Abuja to Enugu, for 1 week. So Nigerians are moved, to using the air because of insecurity. Insecurity also occasioned by, the bushes around our roads, and also because the roads are bad.
Okay. Let me squeeze in this just before we go. Muhammad Sulaiman says, please tell the minister that the road from Bauchi to Jigawa, Kano has 2 connecting bridges collapsing, and the road users have to travel through other roads. The Jos to Kaduna road also has been neglected for a long time. You can't possibly pass through these roads without thinking that the government has any intention whatsoever to help the people.
Let him get to the controller of works, and I'm sure the controller of works, Jigawa and Bauchi, that are hearing me. Let them go and sketch what it is. It worries me so much each time we have this kind of thing. Suddenly a bridge collapses and the people are cut off. It has a lot of consequences. Health consequences, education, economic consequences. So let them take, this thing, and then we immediately see what we are going to do. My job is to offer very quick intervention while we, plan for, long-lasting solution. This is very important. That's what Nigerians expect, and that's what Mr. President expects of us.
All right, we do thank you for coming in, Senator Dave Umahi, Honorable Minister of Works. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chamberlain. Thank you very much.
We're back in a moment. Don't go away.